So Nike finally released their trailer for Caitlin Clark's sneaker.
In a bold and unforgettable move, Nike unveiled a striking ad that reimagined Caitlin Clark, not just as a rising star, but as a mythic figure, a serpent. Within minutes, her debut signature sneakers vanished from shelves, selling out in just 5 minutes and shattering previous records. The internet erupted. Praise, backlash, and hot takes poured in from every corner. But this wasn't your typical product launch, it was a statement. A calculated, high-stakes branding maneuver that anointed Clark as a dominant force in modern sports. And in doing so, it pulled back the curtain on a deep and ongoing cultural clash, one that's been simmering for years beneath the surface of sports, celebrity, and identity. The ad didn't just sell shoes, it sparked a firestorm. What exactly did Nike put on screen that made headlines, divided audiences, and stirred such intense emotions? Let's break it down.
Already, I'm pretty sure you have. Nike has released a new Caitlin Clark commercial, and they made it their business to show love and show out for none other than CC. Now, we know fans has definitely been in odds with the company ever since signing Caitlin Clark. A lot of people feel as if they put Caitlin Clark on the back burner. I don't know, man. I'm a Nike fan. I know a lot of people going to disagree with me on this, but I think Nike was strategic with their growth. People could be mad about it or feel whatever way they feel about it. But one thing I can tell you is that I feel as if they were strategic.
The ad that sent shockwaves through the sports world didn't play like a typical commercial. It unfolded more like a dramatic scene ripped from a high-budget thriller. This wasn't a pitch. It was a proclamation. We open on Caitlin Clark, seated alone under harsh lighting, the room stripped of distraction. Her gaze is locked in, steely, unshaken. She bends down, pulling the laces tight on a sleek pair of black and gold Kobe 5s, a nod to the very sneakers she's often credited as her secret weapon on the court. But this moment goes beyond ritual. As the final lace is pulled, something uncanny happens. Her eyes shift, no longer just intense, they sharpen into reptilian slits, cold and calculated. It's not subtle, and it's not accidental. Nike is tapping directly into the legacy of Kobe Bryant's Mamba mentality, a symbol of unrelenting ambition and controlled aggression. It's a chilling visual metaphor. One that doesn't just reference greatness, but dares to claim.
Clark and Nike are officially dropping Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever player-exclusive Kobe 5s in just a couple weeks. So this shoe was first seen being worn by Caitlin and was thought to be a colorway made just for her up until just a couple days ago, where Nike's official images of the shoes got leaked and the announcement was made saying that everyone will now have a chance to wear.
Everything about the ad radiated power and prestige. From the razor-sharp cinematography to the cinematic score and seamless visual effects, the production wasn't just polished, it was elite. This wasn't your average sports spot. It was a full-scale Hollywood-level rollout. Nike treated this launch with the kind of reverence usually reserved for legends, names like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, or Serena Williams. And that's what made it so striking. For decades, marketing around women's sports has too often felt like an afterthought, underfunded, underproduced, and quietly pushed to the sidelines. A check-the-box effort. But this was different. This was the spotlight. This was primetime energy. It wasn't just a nod to Caitlin Clark's talent, it was a loud, unmistakable message. Nike wasn't just backing a player, they were betting on a movement. For once, the message wasn't, here's something for women's sports. It was, here's something worthy of a star. And the world took notice.
We got something for Caitlin. We got Mamba Caitlin. We got Mamba Caitlin. Where is the Mamba Caitlin? There we go. We have the Mamba logo. We have Caitlin on demon time right now. But yeah, it's good to know that they finally announced it as Caitlin's, as a Caitlin logo. Or sorry, as a...
In today's sports landscape, no major move goes unanswered, and Nike's bold campaign was no exception. While many saw the ad as a long-overdue celebration of talent and tenacity, a familiar wave of backlash came crashing in almost instantly. Social media lit up, not with nuanced debate, but with recycled criticisms that have followed Caitlin Clark since her college debut. Why her? The critics demanded. What about the veterans who've paid their dues? How does a newcomer earn this level of hype? On the surface, these might sound like fair questions. But scratch just beneath, and it becomes clear, most of these weren't genuine concerns. They were emotional reactions to a shift in the status quo. These weren't just critiques, they were protests from a vocal minority unwilling to let go of old hierarchies. The volume wasn't about Clark's skill, it was about discomfort. Discomfort with how quickly she rose. Discomfort with how loudly the spotlight found her. And, for some, discomfort with who gets to be the face of the next era in sports. Clark didn't break a rule. She broke an expectation. And that's what really stirred the outrage.
People felt the type of way, about Caitlin Clark getting these PE shoes. A lot of people felt as if she should have her own signature shoe, which she should. She very should. But guys, I don't think there's any player that got a Kobe PE, bro. Like, do y'all know who Kobe was in the basketball world, bro? I'm just saying, like, Kobe didn't allow, even his family, I'm pretty sure, is not just going to give his signature shoe to just anybody. You know what I'm saying?
What we witnessed wasn't just criticism, it was a deliberate refusal to accept what's already obvious. A kind of selective blindness, clinging to an outdated picture of the sport. Because Caitlin Clark isn't just another name on a team sheet, she's the face of women's basketball today. A force both on the court and in the marketplace. She's a walking headline, a ratings magnet, and a commercial powerhouse. And after dragging its feet far too long, Nike finally stepped up and recognized that fact, not just by signing her, but by marketing her with the scale and intensity that matches her influence. They didn't create her fame. They caught up to it. So no, the backlash wasn't truly about merit or fairness. It wasn't rooted in stats or resumes. It was a pushback against progress, a knee-jerk reaction from those uncomfortable with the pace of change and the shape of the future. Because when the game evolves, not everyone is ready to watch it happen.
These things is some fire. I'm telling you, where there's smoke, there is fire, and these things is hitting so hard. And who got a bot? Who a shoe plug? Because I need 2 pairs. I need one for the sneaker wall, and I need one for my feet, because these things is hitting right here, and no, I don't want to pay $600.
While critics were busy firing off hot takes and venting frustrations online, the marketplace was busy delivering its own, far more decisive response. And that response left no room for debate. It was fast, unforgiving, and definitive. To really understand the impact, you can't look at hours or even half hours, you need to zoom in on the first few minutes after Nike dropped Clark's black and gold Kobe PEs on its infamously elusive SNKRS app. Just 13,000 pairs hit the virtual shelves. They were gone almost instantly. Not gradually, gone. In under 5 minutes, the entire stock evaporated. The $190 retail tag? That was just the entry point. Within moments, resale platforms lit up with inflated listings and frantic buyers. What unfolded wasn't just a sellout, it was a digital stampede. The kind of consumer response brands dream of and analysts dissect. While some were questioning her spotlight, the numbers were already confirming it. The public had made its choice, and it wasn't even close.
So it's finally here. Caitlin Clark sneakers from Nike is finally dropping. She was signed to them last year, and the sneakers is a year late in my opinion, but nonetheless I'm excited because these sneakers is finally coming out. But what does annoy me a little bit is that this is a collaboration with Kobe. Now, Kobe, respect to Kobe, the legend, rest in peace, great basketball player. But in my opinion, Caitlin Clark is a big enough star and she's creating her own legacy. So I feel like, at least for her first sneaker, it shouldn't be a collaboration with any other player, dead or alive, in my opinion. I feel like Caitlin should have, for her first shoe, had her own original design just for her.
Within just 2 hours of the initial release, resale listings started flooding in. Pairs of Caitlin Clark signature Cobes were already being flipped on platforms like eBay for $375, nearly double retail. But that was just the beginning. By day's end, StockX, the go-to source for tracking real-time sneaker market value, was reporting an average sale price of $365. And the most in-demand sizes? They didn't just climb, they skyrocketed, hitting resale peaks as high as $800. That kind of spike isn't normal. It's historic. This wasn't some staged frenzy orchestrated by a marketing team or padded by artificial scarcity. This was real. A tidal wave of demand from fans, collectors, and sneakerheads alike. It was spontaneous, organic, and overwhelming. What we saw was the Caitlin Clark effect in full force. Not a manufactured moment, but a genuine cultural flashpoint. The kind of raw buying power and brand magnetism that women's basketball hasn't seen at this level in decades, if ever.
Stock price since 2021, it is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, Their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over at Reebok. I am so confused as to how you would be so invested in the WNBA for several years, and you have been doing great work to try to elevate and uplift that league and many of the athletes there. But this seems like you have convinced yourself that this needs to be an either-or conversation. And we never have an either-or conversation in the men's sports. You have like 10 signature athletes. Half of them don't deserve a
The sudden, explosive success of both the commercial and the shoe launch did more than generate headlines. It peeled back the curtain on a far more complicated and turbulent story brewing inside Nike's own walls. This wasn't just a matter of a late marketing rollout. It was a flashpoint, a symptom of deeper internal tension and a looming PR storm that had been threatening to erupt. At the center of the chaos was the mounting friction surrounding not just Caitlin Clark, but also WNBA powerhouse Aya Wilson. The public discourse had turned toxic. As Nike faced backlash for seemingly prioritizing Clark while appearing to sideline Wilson, frustration spilled out online. Critics pointed fingers, accusing the brand of bias, while supporters of both athletes took sides in what felt like a manufactured rivalry. But then, a new twist shifted the entire narrative. In a surprising revelation, Aya Wilson confirmed she had known about her own signature shoe deal for 2 full years, a fact that had never been made public until now. The bombshell raised eyebrows, especially considering that during that time, Wilson's camp had shared posts and comments many interpreted as subtle jabs, cryptic subtweets, passive-aggressive remarks, and insinuations that she was being snubbed in favor of the rising rookie. To some, it looked like a deliberate strategy, one that may have stoked division and confusion, all while knowing a major deal was quietly in motion behind the scenes.
The long-awaited, highly anticipated Caitlin Clark player exclusive, not her signature shoe. Remember, they're not creative enough to think of that. But that should be coming out in a few months as well. But the player exclusive, they're starting to give it the push. This is the rollout. We got a clothing line coming before the holidays. Let's see how many resources Nike puts behind Caitlin Clark now that we're going to start getting some of her merchandise coming out, and fans are...
But here's the part that's really igniting the outrage. Nike is finally treating Caitlin Clark like the generational star she already is. And for some, that recognition is too much, too soon, especially when it disrupts the old order. What's becoming clearer is that much of the drama wasn't organic, it was engineered. Manufactured tension. And then, the internal turmoil that had long been hidden behind Nike's corporate curtain came crashing into public view. Enter Jordan Rodgers, a 15-year Nike veteran, who stepped forward with a scathing public critique that sent shockwaves through the industry. In no uncertain terms, he accused his former employer of fumbling one of the biggest opportunities in modern sports history. According to Rodgers, Nike had in its hands the most significant brand catalyst since Michael Jordan, and instead of seizing the moment, they hesitated. He pointed to a glaring contradiction. Nike has never shied away from simultaneously backing multiple male superstars. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis Antetokounmpo, each with their own signature lines, coexisting under the same corporate banner. Yet when it came to elevating multiple women at once, the brand appeared paralyzed, afraid to enter what Rodgers called the either/or debate. His comments painted a troubling picture, not of a bold, confident industry leader, but of a corporate giant unsure of how to navigate a new era. An empire tripping over its own legacy, caught between progress and fear.
Finally put her in a Super Bowl campaign with 9 other women, and all respect to them, but none of them are moving the needle quite like she is. Your tagline in that was "You can't win, so win." One of the best explanations I can come up with is that you are wringing your hands and afraid to enter into this politically divisive conversation that has been co-opted by the media and pundits who are race baiting and doing all kinds of ridiculous things around women's basketball. You can't win, so win. You have the unicorn, the chosen one, the one who everyone wants to hear from, and you were just sitting around Gatorade, State Farm, Gainbridge, Wilson Basketball, have all figured out how to have a point of view with Caitlin Clark. Please, for the love of God, figure something.
While the drama unfolded behind the scenes, Caitlin Clark was quietly rewriting the rules of her sport, one game at a time. To truly understand why Nike made such a bold and costly shift, you have to look past the hype, the shoes, and the social media noise. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't just a catchy slogan, it's a measurable tidal wave of influence. When Clark stepped on the court, WNBA viewership surged to levels not seen in over 2 decades. Indiana Fever games featuring her averaged a remarkable 1.09 million viewers, compared to just 414,000 for games without her, a staggering 163% jump. And her final college appearance in the 2024 NCAA Women's Championship wasn't just big, it was historic, pulling in 18.9 million viewers and outdrawing the men's final by more than 4 million. But the impact went beyond TV screens. Clark's presence ignited a surge in attendance across the league, driving a 105% increase in fans showing up to arenas. In fact, over the course of 41 games, she accounted for a jaw-dropping 33.5% of the WNBA's total attendance that season. This wasn't just a player moving the needle. Caitlin Clark became the needle, the driving force reshaping women's basketball and proving that talent, when recognized and supported, can redefine an entire sport.
I thought that these might not perform well, but just wait until I show you the stock numbers on these. Not only that, but apparently her jersey is in high demand too after she publicly defended Angel Reese. I didn't think that this colorway was going to do too well at first, but pre-sale is saying otherwise. These are currently pre-selling for over $300 and the retail is only $190. They drop on June 30th and the total stock on Nike US is just 13,000 pairs. For comparison, the Kobe 5 eggplant had just 30,000 pairs on Nike.
Tying Caitlin Clark's comeback commercial to Kobe Bryant's legendary legacy wasn't just a savvy marketing move, it was a profound, heartfelt choice that struck a chord with anyone who's followed her rise. This wasn't some random branding ploy designed to grab attention. It was a deeply authentic connection grounded in history and respect. Clark has worn Kobe's signature sneakers religiously since her record-shattering days at Iowa, affectionately calling them her magic shoes and her babies. So when the ad showed her embodying that iconic Mamba mentality, it wasn't an actor stepping into a role, it was a genuine reflection of a shared spirit. Kobe Bryant wasn't just a basketball legend, he was a passionate advocate for women's basketball. He mentored the next generation of stars, including his daughter Gianna and players like Sabrina Ionescu, with fierce dedication. If he were here today, there's no doubt he'd see in Caitlin that same relentless drive, the same hunger to compete and win at any cost. This commercial didn't just promote a sneaker, it symbolized a spiritual passing of the torch. It was Nike's way of affirming Caitlin Clark as the rightful heir to that fierce, unbreakable competitive fire. A powerful acknowledgement that her place among the greats isn't just earned, it's destined.
Viewed so far on NBA TV, 624,000 folks. We're talking 3 times the amount. We are talking 2 times the amount on a random channel called NBA TV. What's it going to take for these other games' viewership to start?
This profound link to a legendary past isn't just a nod to history, it's a launching pad for a future that could redefine an entire industry. While the Kobe PE sneakers shook the sneaker culture to its core, they were merely the opening act. The true headline? Caitlin Clark's very own signature shoe, set to debut later this year. And make no mistake, its impact will be seismic. To grasp the full weight of this moment, consider the context. In nearly 3 decades of WNBA history, only 12 women have ever earned their own signature sneaker. 12. Meanwhile, more than 22 NBA players currently enjoy the same privilege, with full signature lines. The disparity has been glaring. Her groundbreaking $28 million a year endorsement deal, once viewed as eye-popping, is already being recognized as an absolute steal, a bargain of historic proportions. This isn't just about launching another sneaker. It's Nike's definitive statement, boldly shattering decades of unspoken rules in sports marketing. For far too long, women's sports have been treated as the second feature, the side story. But with this move, Nike is making it crystal clear, a female athlete can be the main event. The headline act. A global business powerhouse, fully capable of driving results on the biggest stage, on her own terms. The game has changed. And Caitlin Clark is leading the charge.
Caitlin Clark, she's got it. She's got swagger. She's got, if you will, balls. She's tough. She's shrewd. She's not a good passer. She's all-time great. And she makes logo threes. And she makes them beautifully. She jump shoots the way Steph does from the logo, where she's not feet on the floor pushing set shots. She goes up, holds it, and flicks the wrist, and has incredibly underrated strength. She's just got all-time it factor. She's doing things on a nightly basis where you sit back and say, oh, she's selling them out like crazy. That's Jordan-esque. So in impact, she's already having Michael Jordan impact.
That $28 million deal isn't just a headline number on a contract anymore. It's a game-changing weapon that has sparked a fierce new arms race in women's sports. It's more than a payday, it's a financial milestone that has reset the entire playing field. Competitors like Adidas, Under Armour, and even Reebok, who made waves by signing Angel Reese, now face undeniable pressure. The era of offering female athletes a mere fraction of what their male counterparts earn and calling it progress is officially over. The market has shifted, and everyone has to catch up. But the ripple effect extends far beyond sneaker brands. Nike's bold investment sends a clear, unmistakable message to corporations across the board: women's basketball is no longer a niche or a sideshow. It's a premium, bankable product with massive commercial potential. This isn't just a win for Caitlin Clark, it's a seismic shift for the entire industry. The stakes have been raised, and the business of women's sports will never look the same again.
To see that not only Nike are doing this, but Nike actually are willing to say, you know what, yeah, we'll give Caitlin her PE. We'll give Caitlin her PE. And I wonder what way the Haitlins are going to twist this. I wonder what way the Haitlins are going to.
This ripple effect is already reaching far beyond the sneaker world. Major brands, from telecommunications giants to financial services firms, are now re-evaluating their marketing strategies, recognizing the enormous opportunity that women's basketball and its rising stars present. With increased salaries, more lucrative media deals, and expanded sponsorships becoming the new standard, the industry is shifting beneath our feet. In fact, Caitlin Clark's impact isn't just theoretical, it's tangible. Cities she visits report noticeable economic boosts, with surges in hotel bookings, restaurant sales, and local business activity. Her value isn't confined to Nike's balance sheet, it's being felt in communities across the nation, sparking what some have dubbed a Caitlin Clark stimulus package. But if her influence is so clear and measurable, why did Nike hesitate for so long? The answer boils down to one word: fear. Caitlin Clark didn't just join a basketball league, she stepped into the eye of a cultural storm. She's become a lightning rod in polarized debates, often exploited by media commentators who twist her story into narratives of division and controversy. For a global corporation like Nike, one that has traditionally steered clear of controversy, entering this charged arena was terrifying. Their initial reluctance reflected this fear of getting caught in the crossfire. Then came the turning point, perfectly summed up by Nike's own recent Super Bowl tagline: "You can't win, so win." They understood that trying to appease every critic, especially those driven by agenda rather than reason, was a losing battle. Instead, they made a strategic choice: to win the market, no matter the noise. While pundits argued and social media raged, the data told a clear, irrefutable story. Viewership numbers soared. Attendance figures climbed. Merchandise sales exploded. Website traffic spiked. Every metric pointed in one direction. Finally, Nike chose to listen to the facts, not the fury. They chose to back their unicorn. Ultimately, the saga of Caitlin Clark and Nike is one of near disaster followed by a bold, course-correcting comeback. It's proof, backed by undeniable data, of a cultural phenomenon reshaping the business of sports. Nike may have stumbled, but they didn't fall. They came back with a statement so strong, it put the entire industry on notice. Caitlin Clark is that athlete. The one who sells out arenas, smashes viewership records, and crashes sneaker websites within minutes. Critics can keep shouting into the digital void. Their opinions no longer matter. The market has spoken. The fans have spoken. And now, Nike has spoken, loud and clear. They are all in. There's no turning back. The Caitlin Clark era has only just begun. What we're witnessing is more than a breakthrough for women's basketball. It's a blueprint for how one athlete can rewrite the rules, not just for her sport, but for the entire business of sports as we know it.